Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening to those of you in Europe. How's everybody doing? It's Thursday, believe it or not. I thought it was Wednesday, but it is Thursday. And it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock in the evening in the UK. And yeah, it's time to do macro talk too. And absolutely nothing is going to plan. So this will be interesting. The initial plan, and what you probably saw if you looked at the I just accidentally pressed the wrong button in the OBS. That could be a problem. Okay, well, not to worry. Yes, I initially was planning on Tuesday to do the first part of the Insects in Flight extravaganza. Ran into a few technical problems, not bad ones. I just couldn't find the screwdriver, and then the things went from bad to worse. And had a bit of a problem with the studio on Tuesday, so I was behind the 8 ball there. So I thought, well, I've got 2 days to get the machine ready. It should be no problem at all. But yesterday was rather hectic, and so was this morning. So by the time I was ready to start bolting parts together to get the flying insect machine done, it was too late. So we are going to delay that, but there's something that takes precedent over that anyway that we're going to be talking about today. So yeah, I apologize if you were here with your own pile of Cognosys stop shop pieces and parts in a big bin like I have, looking forward to putting it together with me. Not going to happen. Not going to happen today anyway. I'll probably video it. In fact, that's a good idea. I'm doing a video today. I've got to shoot parts of 3 videos today, and I'll do that one as well. I'll add that in because I want to show you how the machine goes together, so that when we take it outside and I get stung by wasps, you'll know how the machine was put together before that happened. It'll be important and useful. Where was I? Who's here? Stand up if you're here. I think I saw Ingolf's name. Oh, we've got loads of folks here. Graham is here from Chertsey in the UK. Welcome, Graham. Yes, he's talking about a beetle that flew into him yesterday. I bet that was a fright for the poor beetle, wasn't it? Yeah, so I have some rose chafers flying here from Europe. It's going to take them a while, I imagine, to get here. But yeah, Chris is sending me some. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I can't wait. Rose chafers are awfully pretty beetles. I've been photographing a lot of beetles lately, as you well know. I will show a couple of my more recent pictures of tiger beetles, because yeah, Robbie sent these to me, a second batch, and they're even better than the first batch, and I've got lots and lots of pictures. And yeah, it's like when your friend goes on summer holiday and they want to show you their video. You don't have a choice, really, do you? Not if it's a decent friend. You just have to suck it up and go with it. I'm going to have to move this light out of the way. It's absolutely distracting me, poking in my eye and everything. Cameras were a bit of an issue today. All of my capture cards stopped working. Why would that happen? All 3 of them. And yeah, I finally had to cobble together a different thing, and it doesn't look right. That's me there, sideways. That's probably just because the camera's pointed that way. See all that stuff on the screen? That shouldn't be there either, but I turned it off in the camera. You don't care about this, do you? We'll just go back to the regular camera. So I'm not going to be doing any fancy demonstrations today, but I am going to be showing you some stuff on the computer screen. In fact, we'll start that in just a second. Let me see who else is here. Susan's here from Alabama, here in the USA. Well, actually here in Alabama too, come to think of it. And Lance, yes, I did get your message, cryptic though it was, and I have not been over to get your good news. But I will. I'll pop over there as soon as I'm done here. It really has been insanely busy the last, well, year. But yeah, the last 2 days worse than usual. So that's the thing. My friend Laura just sent me a picture I can't show it because I didn't save it. Well, I don't know where I saved it, but it's an Audax jumping spider on her computer, I think. They're beautiful, and I've never seen one around here, and I'm out there looking for them all the time. You know, the one with the big green pedipalps, just gorgeous. This is a nice big one too. Yeah, I love those things. Anyway, yes, Lance, I did get your message. Haven't been over to Discord to see what your good news is, but I will. But unless you want to tell me now, that would save me the trip. But I'll go over there anyway. Let me see. Nils is here from Norway, where the snow has all melted away and it's now summertime, right? Nope, not a chance. Not up there in the Arctic Circle. Let me see. I ought to have asked this earlier. Can you hear me? Anybody? Graham, can you hear my buzzing noise? I've turned off half my drives to try to isolate which one's doing it, so it might be a bit quieter today. And I moved the microphone as well. Tell me if that helps. In fact, let me scan to the bottom real quick and see if anybody says, yeah, can hear you. Another YouTuber said the mystery lens will be announced on 30th of May. Well, I have not yet received word to that effect, but I will be prepared for it. My review and other videos, I'm doing 3 videos, a review and a tutorial on how to use this strange lens, and also a behind the scenes video on how to photograph a lens, which is silly really, but it was something I was doing and I thought I'd show you how I do it. So that's all coming up, but I thought it was closer to the 30th of June that was going to happen, but we'll see. I've got lots of news about that. As soon as I can talk about it, I will talk about very little else for a while. Can anybody hear me? Yes. Audio, video are fine. Good. Thank you very much. And yeah, where was I? I was up at Chris. He was telling me he's got the rose chafers on the way. Stunning creatures. Yeah, I'm very excited to get them. I'm moving my studio, not very far, just down the hall to another room. I think it's a more stable environment. It doesn't seem to be as wobbly down there as it is here. And I've been having just terrible issues with vibration and other related problems in this particular corner of the house. I know it's on a slab and everything and it's concrete, but when trucks go by on the road, which is right outside my window, it's pretty bad, and that happens all day long. I don't know why. I live on a cul-de-sac. I would have thought that would have been quiet, but trucks come down here just to get lost, I believe. So anyway, we're going to be talking a little bit, just a little bit, about something horrible. It's like a car accident that happened. It happened between Photoshop and AI. And I've got to tell you about it. I've got to tell you about the new thing in Photoshop that has got me so upset. But we'll get to that in just a minute. We will. You know that this is the last week of the flower competition, and that when the flower competition is over, you won't be able to submit a flower, not to win a prize. So you better get on that if you haven't taken a picture of a flower. I won't be taking a picture of a flower, even though I'm not the official judge. The judge is going to decide which wins and which doesn't, and I'll just have to sit there quietly and take it. Angie and I were supposed to meet today, but we're going to meet tomorrow instead and set up the time for it. I think we'll record our scoring discussion the day the competition ends, and it'll take me a day to get it edited and put it up, but as soon as I can, I will. So that's the plan. But don't forget, the stereo competition kicks off on the 1st of June, and I'll be reminding you of this, but there are some new rules. Not really new rules, actually. It's just a slight interpretation of one of the old rules, and that is the amount of magnification that is required. You know, it's a macro competition, so it's a close-up and macro contest. But I also recognize that lots of people use small sensor cameras, and you know, for them to shoot at the kind of magnifications that yeah, well, it's if you're handheld, then I think it's perfectly fine to shoot about 1:4. That is still a close-up. That is still macro photography in my book. So I just wanted to clarify that. Somebody asked on Tuesday, if your image is 1:4 or higher magnification, that will qualify it as a macro picture. And yes, it's macro pictures. Somebody else asked, does it have to be insects? Absolutely, categorically not. It can be anything small that you find, anything at all. It can be, yes, anything. You decide. It's got to be in stereo though. You understand that part. That's the key. And the third rule is when you turn in your pictures, for it to be a valid entry, it won't be accepted as an entry unless it has either a triplet view, which is where you present 3 pictures. 2 of them on the right would be for cross-eyed viewers. 2 of them on the left would be for parallel viewers or people who use the glasses. If you do not know how to make a triplet, then simply make a pair of 2 image sets. So what you would have, you'd have one picture which would be in parallel. That would be for the glasses people. Then you'd have one picture with, you know, the 2 images in one picture, and that would be for the people cross-eyed. And then if you submitted 2 images, then it would be a total of 4. You're understanding this? You're nodding, but I don't sense that you know what I'm saying. It's you need to be able to make it so that everybody can see the pictures if they can see stereo. There are a couple of our people who can't, and we'll just describe it to them. But yeah, if you can see stereo either by crossing your eyes or by putting on the glasses, we need you to be able to see all of the pictures so that you can enjoy them all. Otherwise, what's the point? What is the prize in June? Well, the prize is impressive. Thanks to Mr. John Brennan, one of the prizes is a brand new set of your very own viewing spectacles. The same ones I use, the same ones that were out of stock for 100 years. You have your own brand new set of glasses that will be your prize, along with a lifetime subscription to Zerine Stacker. How about that? That's quite a prize. I spoke to Mr. Littlefield last night, and he very kindly offered to do that. And he said, have you got a contingency plan in the event that the winner already has Zerine Stacker? And I said I did. And the contingency plan was a lifetime membership with Zerine Stacker. It doesn't change. That's still the prize, but it is transferable. So if you end up winning and you've already got it, and you've already got a pair of glasses maybe to go with it, then you've got a wonderful gift to give somebody and bring them into the stereo fold. But that's the prize, and that's what we're going to stick with. So now you know. In June, the prize will be Zerine and glasses. Now, there's another prize that I was going to tell you about. Oh, yes. I announced this on Tuesday, and I'll briefly mention it again. I don't have the things with me. But one of my viewers, Vivian, it's a guy, Vivian. It wasn't until I learned that it was, and now it is. So Vivian sent me, or bought from B&H, and B&H sent me 4 of the best super clamps I've ever seen. They're fantastic. They're made by one of the Chinese companies, but this must be their premium B&H super clamp because it's got a big handle, a rubbery handle on it, and it opens really wide. Gorgeous. He gave 4 of those and 4 spigots, brass spigots to go with them. So that is a wonderful prize, and I'm going to be giving 2 of those, 2 sets of those, and an hour lesson with me. That's the penalty part of it. But an hour with me and 2 clamps, that's the prize. I already said we were doing a lens this month, didn't I? Yeah, for the flowers, it's a lens. So the clamps will be after stereo. Excuse me for 1 second. Something, while I was outside looking at the tree, I have a tree out there where the grass used to be, to see if there were insects in it. There was some kind of pollen coming off out the flowers, I suppose. Oh, geez, I've been sneezing ever since. I fear I'm about to sneeze again. It's going to be tough being out there with the machine, the insects in flight machine. Anyway, that's the prizes. That's coming up. Any questions about the competition, let me know. And I am going to get on with business in just 1 second. Let me see who else I've got to say hi to. I hate not saying hi to people, even though it takes a bit of time. I already said hi to Ingolf, who's saying it's nice in Germany and he's having a beer. Well, good for you. Yeah, and Phil's bemoaning the fact that it's just lunchtime in California. I thought you could drink in California at lunchtime. I thought that was part of the thing. No? Okay, well, I must have read wrong. Robert is here from Ocala, Florida. Robert, I tried to call you yesterday. I will try again today. There you go. And Michelle, what are you doing here during the day? Did you get fired? That would be terrible news, wouldn't it? I shouldn't be making light of that. No, it's, yeah, there you go. You're on a 4-day weekend. Okay. Or the last day before one. What's a 4-day weekend for? Is it a holiday? Is it Christmas? I haven't bought anybody anything this year. Terrible. And yeah, so, oh dear, Ingolf is speaking German again. And you know how that throws me for a complete loop. He says, Hallo, Photographer 85 und Service zurück nach Wien. What, Wien? Wien? Big earwig, Nick, don't you wesson. Oh dear, that will have upset some Germans. I have no earthly idea what that means. I have a good idea what French means when I hear people speaking it because I learned it in school. German, it's just completely mysterious to me. They have the longest words too. Super long words that are so descriptive. Yeah, we don't have them. Ralph is here. Hey, Ralph. Curious Scientist. Have you guys been following Curious's channel lately? He's been doing some bizarre stuff that I don't understand, and he'll have to explain it. But up until a couple of weeks ago, he was working on the photography stuff, which has been fantastic. He built a board for me so that I could build one of his rigs. So that's fantastic. I can't wait to get that. That'll be so much fun. You've got to check out his channel. If you're the least bit interested in microprocessors and coding and just learning about how to make things operate, yeah, go check him out. He explains it better than anybody. Very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. And I'm going to leave the Germans to just chitter-chatter to themselves. Graham, I've been thinking about your vibration table of late because I've been having terrible vibration problems here in the house. I moved my camera a bit, well, about 3 feet, and it seems to have just gotten worse, and when I moved it back it was even worse than that. It's not the table, but yeah, I think I'm going to have to find a one of your vibration dampening tables. That would be the solution. Trouble is they're heavy, aren't they? But yeah, I've been thinking about that. That'll be the next step. So let me see. We have talking about Graham. We have a presume this weekend at 8 o'clock in the morning, US Central Time, my time, which is lunchtime in the UK. So if you're a Patreon member, don't forget presume on Saturday. It's your meeting. I've got a few things to talk about, but yeah, bring whatever you need to discuss, or if there's anything you want to see, leave me a message ahead of time so I can get it set up in the studio. I started talking about moving the studio down the hall. I am actually breaking up the studio into a video studio and a kind of a, I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but there's another room that I'll make into a third studio, which will be for talkie type videos because it's more comfortable. Not much more comfortable, but a little bit more comfortable and a little bit quieter. So I'm moving all of this stuff today, and hopefully by next week I'll be able to give you a tour. With the seasick inducing cell phone. So that'll be the plan. We'll see how it goes. David is here from Winthrop, Maine. Good afternoon, sir. And Phil, the newest version of Photoshop has some great new tools. Actually, it doesn't. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Specifically, I'm going to talk about one particular tool. And it's not the new release, it's the new beta. And I'll be talking about that in just a minute. And it will probably become a bit of a rant, to be honest, which is very unusual because I am an Adobe fanboy. I have been ever since I got Photoshop. I love Photoshop. I love Lightroom. They've had their problems, but Premiere's my favorite of them all, and it's been hard to, it's hard to learn it. But I'd be lost without it. So I am a definite dyed-in-the-wool Adobe fan, but you wouldn't guess it today. More on that in just a second. Russ is here. Greetings, Russ. And let me see. Ingolf's still speaking German in tongues. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, I've never had a plan come together. Russ, what does it feel like? I make plans just really to be sure to not run out of disappointment. It's seldom that they work out. This electronics thing has been a nightmare. I've cut back the number of screens I've got too because I was getting information overload. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It could have just been my glasses were too tight. But it was a throbbing headache anyway. I'll let those guys just chatter away in German to one another. Vivian's here. Greetings, and thanks again for your support of the show, Vivian. Really appreciate it, and those prizes are going to be most appreciated. Ingolf has made a sad face, probably in response to my German. And I don't blame him. That's the absolute least I can expect. So there you go. Alistair's here from Carlisle, and Gary. Greetings, Gary. How are you, my friend? And Harold Olson. Spent 2 Thursdays in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's in my time zone, you say. Is it really? Yeah, it would be. It's just north of here, like 4 days drive or something. You should have dropped by. It's what were you doing there? You shouldn't tell me though. I mean, that's private. You were probably buying cheese, weren't you, or beer? I think that's the 2 things they make in Milwaukee. But I might be wrong. Let me see. Laura's here. Laura, I was telling people about your Audax and how pretty it was. We need to find a way to get that picture to me so that I can show it, because I think people will be thrilled to see that wandering around in an office. I know it would cheer me up. So the mystery lens is coming out on the 30th. I'll be ready, but that's only 5 days from now. It might be coming out then in China or Germany. Yeah, Germany probably. But I don't know about the US. We'll find out soon enough. And there are some other YouTube photographers who I think would actually probably know that pretty solidly. So I'll follow up on it. Anyway, good afternoon, Hernando and Proud Liberal and Dragos' grandma. Welcome. Glad you're here. Everything sounds okay, and we are good to go. I just did something bizarre with my fingertip on the pad and all of my screen disappeared, but it's back. Let me see. Larry says that he had a mentor tell him that you must have a plan to know what won't be happening when the plan meets reality. Yes, that's what we learned in the army, was we made a plan and then knew that we'd be doing something else so that we'd bring the appropriate equipment. Yeah, it was very unnerving. I didn't much care for it, to be honest. I wasn't good in the army. Can you believe that? I didn't like the jumping to attention part, even though people were jumping to attention with me because they gave me all kinds of rank when I joined. And yeah, it was very uncomfortable. I don't like that at all. But you have to do it, you see. So yeah, that's why I don't like it when people call me sir. Only my mother had to call me sir. God rest her soul. So let me see. Tomorrow is Michelle's saying, no, she wasn't fired. Thank goodness for that. That would have been just terrible. Let me see. So you're treating today like a Friday. Good for you. And when is Memorial Day? Is that this week? I can't remember. I don't think I ever knew, to be honest. But yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the AI, and then I'll come back, circle back for the other messages. The announcement came out, and it started bubbling around on the internet that people were just in conniptions about how fantastic this news was, that ChatGPT had fallen in love with Photoshop and that had a baby, and it was the new beta of Photoshop, and that it had all of these AI capabilities from Firefly. And that, it sounded interesting, and it sounded like something I wanted to look into. My friend Mike Canfer, who worked for Adobe for some 20 years, was full of inside information on it, and he was able to get me an audience with one of the bigwigs over there, and Mr. Dave Helmsley took an hour of his afternoon yesterday to walk me through the whole process and showed me some fantastic examples. And at the end of it, I was really ready to be super impressed. There was a little bit of problem getting the program loaded, I think probably because there were so many people on the beta that there was some issue with it. But eventually that was worked out. And I spent a couple of hours on it this morning. And I went from being excited and thrilled to be able to be testing the beta, and gradually got less and less encouraged and more depressed over the whole event. The idea is that this is a new form of photograph manipulation that we've had all along. We've had sky replacement for the last several years, and we've had other kinds of semi-intelligent actions that you could trigger. And this is new in that it accepts verbal prompts and produces like a contextual fill to your photograph, is what it does for right now. Presumably it'll do more in the future. But what you do is you select a portion of your photograph, you tell it that you want to do a generative fill, and then you give it your prompt. You tell it what you want to fill the area with. And because I use ChatGPT fairly regularly, and I've got fairly sophisticated with it, and I'm used to what are called iterative prompts, where you can continue to prompt ChatGPT on the same subject to get more and more information out of them that way. I came into this with some really high expectations, I think. And I started out asking for some really complex requests that just were not, they just were not getting any results that were worth talking about. And I'm going to show you a bunch of these in a second. I then realized that it must be my prompts. I must be doing something wrong. So I started using pretty much the exact same prompts that Mr. Helmsley had used yesterday, and the same pictures, or except my version of the same pictures. You know, people with a car, or a picture of a building, that type of thing. And I wasn't able to get any good results. I've got a couple of them to show you that are quite hysterical, but in a kind of car crash kind of way. Let me share my screen with you, and we'll begin by a picture that I thought would be very, very basic to the whole process. Let me see if I can find my cursor. That's the hardest thing, is keeping up with your cursor. Did you know that? It really is when you've got more than one screen. Okay, so we're in Lightroom, and I am going to, for each of these, I'm going to show you, let me see, there we go. I'm going to show you the picture, and I'll tell you what prompt I wrote, if I wrote one, and show you what I got as a result. And then we can talk about it. This is my brother's son. Does that make him my nephew, or my cousin, or my uncle, or my niece? He's one of them. I think he's my nephew. Handsome lad. I had him stand up on a rock. This is in California, on the Pacific. And I decided to just change his hat. Not change his hat, remove his hat. I said, please remove hat. And it changed his hat to a different ball cap, and it gave me 3 different iterations of that. So that was a bit disappointing, because you would have thought remove hat was about as simple an instruction as you could give. And then I asked it to replace his blue jacket with a leather jacket. And that was what I got back from the engine, which doesn't look like a photograph, for one thing, and is bizarre at best for another. I can't even show you the output from the leather jacket, because it was an open leather jacket worn by a lady, a grown lady, that was put on, this poor chap's head was put on her. And it did quite a bit of that strange behavior. So there you go. That just was a bit disappointing. I was expecting to see just some hair. That was what I'd hoped. Let's try it again, because you never know. It might just be that you have to do it one more time to get it. So we'll take it over to the beta, and we'll just go through exactly the same process that I went through earlier. It doesn't matter what selection tool you use. The quick selection tool is fine. And I'll select the hat. Now, one of the best practices that I was told was be careful with your selection, and then you can modify it to expand it just a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll go to select, modify, expand, maybe 5 pixels. That'll make the selection a little bit bigger than the hat. Okay, so that's that done. Now I'm going to go to generative fill, and I am going to write in the instruction remove hat. I'll spell it correctly without the number 4 in it. So remove hat. I think you'd agree that can't be much more direct. And then I'll hit enter, and it'll take a minute to think about it, and then it'll give us 3 results. System is currently busy. That started happening more and more as I was using it. I was getting cannot compute your answer, or error in the system. So I think it probably is being overwhelmed. Let's try it again. Some of them are laugh out loud funny, but not in a kind way. Okay, so it's changed his hat to a different ball cap. Exactly the same shape and everything, just changed the color. Did it again, and the third one again. That is less AI than I would have hoped to see. Let's try another one. In fact, let's try selecting his. Well, I've selected the whole thing. Let me start over with that. Actually, I'll tell you what, we might have to drag that previous effort to the dustbin. Let's do that. Yeah, that should allow me to select something different. So I'll select his jacket, sweater, and his shirt like that. And I think actually it's all jacket. And we'll replace it with what I asked it to do earlier. Replace coat with leather jacket. Now this actually was one of the things that Dave did yesterday, only it was with I think a denim jacket with his grandson, and yeah, it gave an impressive result. So let's see what we get. Now this is all going on in the cloud, which is why it takes a little while to get the electrons up there and sorted out and then sent back to us. Okay, system is currently busy. Well, I'm going to keep persisting until we get through. I said at the earlier in the live stream, I'm a big fan of Adobe. Oh, actually, okay, except for the bizarrely mangled female hand that's sticking. Well, it's also a female. Yeah, it's yes, it's a lady wearing that jacket. You can tell. There's yeah. Let's see what the other ones look like. Okay, that's a lady too. And the last one. Okay. So it's bizarre, is what it is. Wait till you see. Well, I'll show you now. We'll go look at the next crazy thing here. Thank you very much, nephew, for letting me do that. That was very kind of you. So the next one was this. This is in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. It's a railroad trestle thing, and it's very pretty down there. It's a lovely place to go for a walk, and I was down there taking pictures. And I looked at this picture this morning and I thought, you know what would make this would be a couple of jaunty squirrels running around on the wooden beams there. So what I did was I selected the wood and asked for some squirrels. This is what I got. I got the entire trestle was destroyed, torn down to the ground, and in its place a big mound of earth and a bizarre looking red squirrel on top of a little thatchy thing. This was very unexpected and very disturbing. I ran it the second time and it was even worse because there was the Matterhorn mountain was now in the background. So yeah, if this is what artificial intelligence is going to be like going forward, I think we can all breathe a sigh of relief about our job security and everything. I think we probably got a little while still to go. Next up, this is this is a picture that I use for every now and again for promotional stuff. When somebody needs my picture for a talk or something like that, this is the picture I like to use. because it makes me look younger than some of the other pictures. So I needed a picture to send to somebody yesterday when I was playing around with this, and it needed to be square. Now normally what I'd do is I would square it up and then I'd just blur everything out to make it all blend together, that to make the shoulders and everything normal. But what I decided to do was just ask the AI to complete my body for me, which was basically, I just said, make this a square photograph and include my shoulders. And this is what we got. Not only did it include my shoulders, or somebody's shoulders, but also a pair of nice Chinese chaps on either side of me, which I did not ask for. And I just don't know where this came from. And this is the best one. I asked it one time. Well, I'll do that now. Actually, let's go back to that picture. Oh, dearie me! This had me absolutely in hysterics this morning. But we are back in Lightroom. So what I did was, I'll do this again. See if it does the same thing. I asked it to make me look younger, and this is what happened. If it does it again, I can't believe it will. It was just it was too perfect. So I had it select all of me as the subject, and I said, generative fill, make me look younger. That's all. It well, let's see if it does it first. Now, bear in mind that almost all of these things that I've been asking it to do are things that I could do in Photoshop quite convincingly, I think. In relatively, yeah, okay, it did. This is what I would look like if I was younger, according to AI. I'm a lot prettier than I was in this morning's picture. But it seems to be a fairly consistent theme that younger I just looked like different versions of women with strange hair. So there you go. By this time I was getting pretty much beside myself with concern over this whole process, but I wasn't ready to quit yet. So I just started grabbing random pictures. I saw this chap out at the pier last year. He was cutting up 3 big spotted bass that he had caught. I can't believe he's going to eat them. They're full of maggoty things in the waters around here. But anyway, he was cleaning these and he let me take his picture. And I asked the AI to replace the fish with octopi. Yeah, I think I said octopus, but yeah. And I also asked it to put the Loch Ness Monster in the lake, and I selected the lake. So we should have now one Loch Ness Monster in the background and octopus on the chopping board. Well, there's the octopus. Well, it's not really an octopus because it's got 40 legs. And I don't know what he's cutting with his fingers there, but yeah, it's a horrible looking octopus. And apparently the Loch Ness Monster is just some fishing boats, which explains the mystery of the monster, if that's all it is. So I'm yet to be impressed at this point. I haven't had a single output that was impressing me. Let's see what was next. Oh, yeah, right, a balloon. A floaty balloon going overhead, and I took a picture of it, asked the AI to please make the balloon into the shape of an elephant. You know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of making it into a pig, like the Pink Floyd album. What was it? Animals? Yeah, Animals. And yeah, I thought that would probably be 101 for an AI, would be to make that into an animal. So this is what it looks like as an elephant. and I cannot really get elephant out of that, or out of any of the other pictures that it offered me. And it had about 9 of them before I gave up. None of them bore any resemblance or made reference to an elephant. So maybe in the computer brain, that is what an elephant looks like, I guess. This was bizarre. This lady was just walking around on the beach, and I had a long lens, and as she walked by, I snapped a picture of her, and she was engrossed by this piece of driftwood or drift concrete or whatever it was that was on the beach. And I take pictures like this when people are looking at things, because it gives me a great opportunity to do a clever composite and maybe drop something else in there. Well, that's what I asked the AI to do. I selected this whole rectangle, and I asked it to replace it with a polar bear. And this is what we got. It looks like some kind of dead mammal in a shallow grave. And yeah, no wonder she's staring at it with disgust. I just don't know where that came from. It didn't come from my prompt. It really didn't. I would have expected a polar bear rearing up in the air or on all fours or something, not with a stake through its liver. Anyway, I think there were a couple more. Yeah, I won't show you the before picture because I might not have permission to show his face, but I asked it to make him an alien, but it made him into a wrestler instead. Yeah, he's catching a fish there, and the lady there is quite excited, so I left her alone in this experiment. But if she turns around and sees that face of his, she'll fall in the pond for sure. Oh dearie! Oh, there I did show him. And the last one was this chap. Yeah, he actually had a guitar on his back, and I highlighted the guitar and replaced it with a monkey. And this one actually almost works, except the monkey's face is a bit. Whoops. Let's go back to that. No, that's his guitar. There, that's what he looked like before I mangled him. And then afterwards, yeah, the monkey. The monkey has something wrong with its eye. I don't know if that's a selection thing or what, but yeah. So that one was okay. That was getting much closer. And all I said was monkey. Let me see, what else have we got here? This one's just super bizarre. This is a little tree hopper nymph, or a tree hopper instar, probably a first instar, something like that. Very tiny little thing. Just found it, photographed it like that, and because it was on a plain background, I selected the background and I asked the AI to replace it with a natural habitat for a tree hopper, and we got that. I don't know what it is, but it's got graffiti on it, and it appears to be made of either glass or metal or both, which is not the natural habitat for tree hoppers. It's kind of in the name, the tree part. So then the others, I didn't even know what it was crawling on. So there you go. And one of the things that was done was Dave replaced a car just by selecting the car and replaced it with a red sports car. And I thought, okay, that's an easy call. We'll replace my car with a red sports car. And that's what we did. And that's what we got. It looks like a blue Mustang. I asked for a red Ferrari. So there you go. I don't know that that's what it is, but it wasn't impressive. I wanted my own car back after that. And then this was interesting. It could have been really good. I selected the stick and the dragonfly. It's a saddlebags dragonfly, and I asked the AI to fill in with a bird. I didn't know what I was going to get. Now, it was filling in everything that I highlighted, so it had to take care of the wings, the body, and the stick. And this is what it came up with. Other than the fact that it's not very photorealistic and its head has been chopped off, it actually is a pretty good use of that space to fill it with a bird. Don't you think? It's gruesome what the thing has done to its head, though, its neck. But that was probably the least troubling, but still pretty troubling, come to think of it. So does anybody have any thoughts or feelings on this? I went into this thinking this is the new way, the new order. We're all of a sudden going to have tools that are so powerful in Photoshop that we're going to be able to express ourselves and do things with our photographs that we couldn't do before. That I just don't believe is true. Not now, but you know how fast all this changes. I mean, probably by tomorrow it'll be reading your mind and you know, doing fantastic things. But for right now, I think that there's a problem with hooking this kind of undercooked technology to a program as prestigious and as reliable as Photoshop. I think it lessens the impact of having a Photoshop. I mean, just getting your product connected to an AI shouldn't take precedence over preserving the integrity of the parent product, which in this case is Photoshop. And they have to fight for every customer that they get because there are some really strong competing programs out there. I don't think there's anything that really competes to it head to head, but this does not help. This does not help their cause, and I don't think it's going to win them any new Photoshop customers, and it might well scare off some old ones. So what do you think? I mean, am I overreacting? Is this just a function of, you know, the chat GPT impact has had on the world that I was expecting something similar from this? I don't know. Let's see what people think. Let me see. What's the difference in how to make parallel and cross-eyed in Zerine? Hernando asks. The difference is at the very end, when you get to your outputs, you select the two images that are going to form the pair, and you go to Tools, Stereo, Make Stereo Pair. And what you'll do is, however it makes it, it'll either be cross-eyed or parallel. So you'll save it as however it comes, and then you'll swap the images over. There's a button that says Change Sides, and it'll swap the images, and that will be the other one. Because that's the only difference between the two, is the parallel, the images are in one orientation, and in the cross-eyed, they're in the other. So you just need to make an output from each, and save that as your image. Excuse me, I was up late last night trying to write, and yeah, I'm tired today. But anyway, let me get back to where we were. Michelle Cox, why does YouTube eat my comments when I add a smiley? Don't know. It's not me. I didn't put a rule in there about that. Let me see. Snow, bumblebees, weevils, and mosquitoes. That's nils. That's what happens when the snow goes away. Patrick, thank you. Patrick just donated 20 Swiss francs, which we know are $1. Thank you very much, Patrick. And we still have to talk about your victory in the competition, which has nothing to do with your generous donation, because I had no idea it was you. Isn't that cool? I never know who is submitting the pictures because I don't look at the names. I don't get the names. The computer sends me the pictures and the titles, and that's it. Now, some people have got really wily about it and put their name in the title. Yeah, that's probably a negative thing, actually, because I'd disqualify it, probably. Okay, so let's see. Where are we? Oh, let me do one thing while I'm talking. There's another couple of pictures that I was going to show that have nothing to do with AI. If any of you were here on Saturday when I did the impromptu stereo tutorial where I just did a couple of stereo images myself, we never got to see the final image, which was an assassin bug shot from above. I wanted to show you that image now because I said I would show it on Tuesday and Thursday. So I just want you to see what it looked like once the stack was finally finished. This is in parallel, so if you have glasses and if you put them on, you'll see that this is a surprisingly thick bug. You'll also notice that the left forelimb is horribly out of focus, and I was explaining on Tuesday that to me ruins the picture. If you're going to have an appendage in the scene, it needs to be in focus. You know, big parts of the scene can be out of focus, but not something specific like a leg. I think it just looks terrible. But anyway, that's what we came up with. And I was also going to show, let me see, there were a couple of new tiger beetle pictures I wanted to show you guys that are new. But I'll show you first these mandibles that I took while you've got your glasses on. These are parallel. It's a pair of mandibles, well, it's a single mandible from a wasp. It's pretty interesting if you didn't know this. Yellow jackets, and this was a yellow jacket, have these bizarre looking chompers on one side that have this big groove down the middle of them. And the other mandible fits in there almost perfectly. And that's for chewing and grinding. That's how they make that papery stuff they make their nest out of. But yeah, this is an impressive shape if you've got your 3D glasses on. And I made several pictures of different angles of the same mandible. The mandible's only it's tiny, a fraction of a millimeter, and it was hard to get it to stand up like that. But there you go. That's it from the edge, and that's it from the front. So interesting pictures in stereo. What else did I have? This is from Nanus Bay as well. This is one of Robbie's St. John's wort beetles. You can tell it's not depressed from eating all of that St. John's wort. And yeah, it's a pretty beetle. I love the red toenails that it has. It's very cool. This is actually going to be one of the beetles that I'm going to add to my growing collection of breakaway Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade insect balloons. It's a composite work that I've been making for years. I was hoping that this new AI would help me with it, but no, I'm on my own when it comes to putting Fifth Avenue in the picture. So that's a beetle, and this is one of my favorite pictures so far this year. This is a very stressful image to look at. This is a tiger beetle that's galloping towards you, and Rick pointed out yesterday that even the left antenna is reaching forward for the viewer. in 2D, of course, you can really see it. I need to shoot this in 3D. But yeah, I like that picture. It's successful. And I think you've seen this one before. This is the clown face tiger beetle, the same beetle actually. It doesn't look as threatening up close. Looks like it's smiling. It's not. It's sizing you up for lunch. But parallel again. These are the mandibles, and the reason I showed this, and I think I probably showed this to you before, is if you look at the thing without your glasses on, you'll notice a lot of artifact around the mandibles. But when you put the glasses on, all that disappears because it's what your brain is expecting when you're looking at stereo. You expect to see stuff in the back that's blurry. So I wanted to show this to remind me to tell you that Rick and I will not be judging the quality of the individual frames of your picture. Now, don't get me wrong, the individual frames of the picture are what make up the stereo. But if you have artifact that just vanishes, then you're fine to leave it in because it's the final result that is the only thing that we're going to be judging, the stereo shot. So yeah, I would feel comfortable submitting this to that competition because this stuff just disappears the way you'd think it would. Anyway, just wanted to clarify that. This is a new picture that I just did recently that shows some up close detail of the left eye of the same tiger beetle. The eye wasn't too impressive, but the texture of the cuticle was, and the antenna looked really cool. So pretty beetles these. There's just hardly anything like them, and that's it. So I just wanted to show those while we were on the subject. Let's now go and see if there's any comments from the peanut gallery on the Adobe thing. Oh, Angie won a competition. Which competition, Angie? Congratulations. That's good timing to win a competition right before a competition that you're judging. Gives you some street cred. Oh, that's fantastic. I can't wait to see the pictures. We'll have to include them on our interview so that people can see them. That's fantastic. Oh, there you go. It's the Animal Kingdom competition. How does a flower photographer win the Animal Kingdom competition? What did you photograph? I need to see the picture, clearly. Well done you. Well done you. That is fantastic. And everybody is so proud of you because they're all mentioning it. That's what I love about this group. Let me see. Russ, you do need to get over to Discord and join because the people over there are just fantastic. They'll make you welcome. You can chit-chat about whatever it is you like to do, share pictures, talk about this, that, or the other. And there's always somebody over there who's going to engage with you. And the conversation's good. I wish I had more time to be over there. I really, I don't spend as much time over there as I'd like. There are lots of things I do I'd rather not do and spend time over there, but you will like it if you go. There will be an invitation in the notes with this recorded live stream. So just click on that and it'll take you there and you'll join. And yeah, people will come running over to say hi when you come in, which is a good thing. All right, it's 3 o'clock, so I need to hurry up and get through these. So everybody is congratulating Angie, and so they should. Well done, Angie. So, Rob's here from Peebles. Welcome. And I answered the cross-eyed and parallel question. And let me see. David's here from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And yes, I think we're doing good here. Then there's a conversation about smiley faces that I don't even understand. After downloading Photoshop Beta, attempts to export images from Lightroom Classic as layers into Photoshop for stacking defaults is to the beta version. It will always default to the beta version if you have it loaded. So what I had to do was I had to get rid of the beta version. This was a few months ago. And then it would send the I don't think there's a way that you can fix that, because I tried in the preferences panel, I tried in the external editor panel in Lightroom, and I couldn't do anything that would make it not default to the beta. Though if you're just importing in layers to do some stacking, it should be fine to use the beta. I don't see why that would be a problem. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything to do but uninstall the beta, which is a pain. All right, Sam says hi, and I don't have to say hi back, so I won't. Hi Sam, glad you're here. And let me see. Some of these I already jumped to earlier on, but that's good. That's good. Joseph is here to correct me on what St. John's wort beetles don't eat, which is St. John's wort. I have no idea what they eat. What do they eat? What do they eat? It tastes like... Oh, the beetle tastes like St. John's wort. Okay, how do you know that? How do you know that? When did you eat one and why? The problem is, I'm sure he's right. I'm 100% certain he's right. I just don't know how he knows it. So there you go. That's all good. Yeah, there is a lot of, Sam, the depth that I get out of the 3D pictures is because of the calculator. If it wasn't for the calculator giving me the optimal spread, I'm not sure I would get anything like that depth in those mandible pictures. But I strongly recommend you use the calculator and follow its recommendation. I usually round it up. If it's an odd number between numbers, I go to the next higher half. That'll make sense if you use it. So I can't wait to see Angie Wallace's boat pictures that won the competition. That's just fantastic. That's awesome. Right. Picture of you with blonde hair and leather jacket in your Patreon inbox. Oh, you did it on... I'm surprised I haven't got more pictures from people. I mean, I did some other pictures last night, and I'm not showing them to you because they're too embarrassing. But I was laughing so hard with some of them. The way they mangle hands is just gruesome. But I will go check that in my inbox. All right, guys, it looks like we're out of time, and I've got a lot of studio moving to do today. So I think I'm going to go ahead and head for the hills and get that done. Angie, I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. Maybe you can show me that picture. And we have a Pazoom on Saturday morning. And by the way, if you are a Patreon member, let me just briefly tell you that the Pazoom that would normally be 2 weeks from this Saturday is going to be 1 week from this Saturday. And that's because I will be indisposed the following. So we're going to have 2 back-to-back weeks of Pazoom. This week is Europe, 8 a.m. my time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. No, something like that. Yeah. Noon your time. What? Something like. Don't worry about it. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll say that. And on the following Saturday, it'll be 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. Okay. So it's all written down in Patreon. So I will see you then. Peter is here from Laramadaton. I don't know where that is. I'll look it up. I'll know next time. I'll even know how to pronounce it next time. Scales here. Greetings. All right, guys. I am going to take off, and I will see you guys on Saturday. If you're Patreon, I'll see you on Monday. If not, and drought of videos is getting ready to be over with a whole flurry of them that are going to be coming out all at once in about a week. So bear with me. We're getting there. All right, guys, take care. And you need to work on I need to work on my sense of humor. Joseph, I don't think so. If I have anything, it's a sense of humor, I think. Just Me says, you should select a small region and do the fill. I have been doing this for hours, and I have done small areas, large areas, every kind of area, and I've been using content aware fill for donkey's years since it came out. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. Yeah, filling in the sides. I did some landscapes. It fills in the sides okay, but that was kind of boring. It was the other stuff that was more interesting. Anyway, there you go. All right, everybody, take care. See you next week. Be well.